Good day, my people. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we want to be looking at how to cut a gather skirt for a baby girl or a 3 years old girl. Yes. So how to cut a gather skirt. So we'll need our fabric for cutting it. For sewing that's the fabric we'll be using. Ankara. So also you need a scissors. We need a tailor shock and also a tape rule. So in cutting the gather skirt, our skirt measurement is 18 inches. So we'll cut out the normal body for the skirt and also a band. We'll be needing a band for the skirt as well. So I've cut out the front and the back piece of the skirt. This is it. So the measurement I use is for the skirt, I use 15 and a half. After removing the band will be using 3 inches for the band. So the remaining body will be 15 and a half. So adding 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance, half inches for the upper allowance, while 1 inch will be for the lower allowance for turning it in. So this is the front body, why this will be our back body. So it has the zipper allowance already. So I put 1.5 inch for the zipper allowance. So I'll be cutting out the back piece, cut it into two. So open it for the zipper allowance, and I'm marking it in order to know where the wrong side falls at. So these are normal body for the skirts. And mind you, I use 1.5 yard for the skirts, for making the gather skirts. So I want it to be very full. So that's why I'm using 1.5 yard. If you like, you could use 1 inch, 1 yard rather. We use 1 yard, depending on how full you want it to be. So here I'm using 1.5 yards. So I'm cutting out the band now. So in cutting out the band, I folded the fabric into four. So these are 3 inches plus half an inch allowance for joining into the body parts. So this is the I folded it into four. So after opening it, we have our normal. You can see it's very long. Our waist measurement is 22, and our length measurement in sewing or cutting gather skirt, the only measurement you'll be needing is just your waist measurement and the length of the skirt. That's all you need for sewing a gather skirt. So you'll be needing your waist measurement and also your length, the length of the skirt. If you want it to be very full, to be full, that to reach the floor, so that's the full length. If you want it to be 3/4, so you measure your clients to wherever they want it to fall at. So these are band. So be measuring out. So our waist is 22 plus um 3 inches allowance. So we have in 25. We'll be cutting out 25 out of what we have here. So we are cutting out 25 inches now. So we cut out 25 inches. So these are our band. This will serve as our band. And these are our fabric for the skirt. So the next thing is to join it. So let's see how we join it. So the next thing is to gather our skirt before pulling it. So we have to sew we have to sew it before we so after sewing we gather it. So by gathering it, you use the longest thread on our sewing machine. So the one that will give us the longer thread. So leave, and remember to leave that 1.5 inch allowance. So yes, this is 1.5 inch. Can you see? This is 1.5 inch allowance. So remember to leave it while sewing, before sewing. So let's start gathering it. And in sewing any fabric, that the front and the wrong side, the back side is almost the same. So you have to always ensure you mark, you use your tailor chalk to mark the wrong side from the right side, so that when you are sewing, you don't mix it up. So we leave another 1.5 inch at the end of sewing the other edge, the tip of the two tips of your fabric. So this is the first one, and this is the second side. So you leave some thread for pulling out. So the next one we are doing is the zipper side, I mean the back side. So we leave 1.5 inch as well for our allowance, leaving 1.5 inch for the allowance. So after sewing it, using the long thread, the next thing is to pull out our to gather our fabric. So what I'm doing now is I'm gathering it to give us that puffy effect of it. So I'm trying to gather it now. Can you see it's forming what we wanted? So we have to be careful when you are gathering your fabric, so that the thread will not cut. So trying to gather it. So this is what we have after gathering it. Can you see it? It's becoming. Can you see it? So do that to all. So after pulling it, pulling the fabric to form that the gathers. So the next thing is to measure for the accurate measurement. So we said the measurement is waist measurement is 22. So we have 26 here with the allowance. So the next thing now is to join it to the band. So after that, we have our skirt already. Just add our zip, and that's all. So I'm joining it. So as you're joining, you have to be careful as well, so that the gathers won't cut out. Yes. And you as well, you'll be arranging your fabric that give you a nice outlook. You arrange your fabric as you are joining it. So I've joined the band to the body. So, and I've also joined the back to the front. So this is the look. This is what I'm having now. So the next thing is to add zip and sew the down parts and hem the down parts. So that's all. So after adding our zip, this is the final look of our skirts, our gathered skirts. Can you see how full it is? Can you see how full it is? Very full. So this is what I wanted to achieve. So this is the down part of it. So the next thing I'll do is I'll take it to my interlocking machine and lock all the rough edges so that it will look nice. Whenever I'm not putting lining, I'm not adding a lining to a dress, I love interlocking it so that it will come to give me that nice finishing. So this is what we have. These are gather skirts. So thanks for watching.